So look, I know this is a weird topic to have while we're in 2022 and not to reminisce on the failures of Jason Garrett being the head coach here, but I think what's important is to look at what's going on with Kellen Moore and see how we got to this point, because Kellen Moore will probably be back as of this recording and video, which will be the 30th of January. I don't know if he gets the job or not. But look, the fact of the matter remains that, you have Kellen Moore being brought up through Scott Linehan and Jason Garrett, but really this is just about an ingrained offensive system that has been with the Cowboys for a long time. So what we're going to do in this video is go through the step-by-step situations and events that led to where we're at and kind of just give you a brief overview to why the Cowboys are where they're at offensively. This is something that is not new if you're a Cowboys fan that has been watching the team for quite some time, like myself. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. But first, if you guys could do me a solid favor and like the video, it doesn't take too long to do, along with subscribing if you haven't done so already. I am trying to hit 10,000 subscribers on this YouTube page by the end of the year, and if by doing so, I will eat 2 of the world's hottest chips live on the Star Gang podcast. So, if you want to see me have that type of pain, by all means, make sure to hit subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on new content like this. So let's go ahead, step back in time to 2007 to get a sense of the series of events that leads us to today, to show you, how important it is to realize how, still the Cowboys have not moved on from that Garrett type of offense and how long it's been just left there. So, we go to 2007. Jason Garrett, who was the quarterback coach of the Miami Dolphins, is hired as the offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys following Sean Payton's departure to New Orleans. Now, in 2006, the Cowboys did not have an offensive coordinator. It was passing game coordinator and running game coordinator. So, they had that type of dynamic going on there. So, now Jason Garrett comes to town. Wade Phillips is now the new head coach. So then 2008, Jason Garrett is made assistant head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, what's important to understand about Jason Garrett's dynamic with the Joneses is that he is a family friend because his father, I believe his father's name was Jim. Jim Garrett is a longtime scout for the Cowboys, and so they have that family connection there. Okay, similar to that of how Sean Payton has that relationship with Jerry, it's kind of like that, okay? So, you're kind of starting to see Jason get a bit more authority. So then you go to 2010, okay? Now keep in mind, he was in fact, paid handsomely. He was like he was like the highest paid coordinator or some crap like that. So, there's that. So in 2010, Jason Garrett's promoted to interim head coach of the Dallas Cowboys following Wade Phillips' firing after a 1-7 start to the season. So now Jason Garrett gets his trial run with 8 games, and in those 8 games, they finished 5-3. They finished the year 6-10, and now they decide, hey, you know what? Jason Garrett feels like the guy that we wanted in Sean Payton to be the head coach, because Sean Payton was going to be the next head coach of the Cowboys, but he left 1 year too early, and also the Cowboys kind of forced out Bill Parcells, but that's a whole nother thing. So he doesn't hire an offensive coordinator in 2011, and he delegates these authorities to Hudson Hawk and his brother John Garrett, okay? So again, these guys worked with him in Miami, and to kind of get a sense of Jason's resume, so from 2007 to 2010, you can see the numbers right here. They average 10th in points and 6th in yards. That's pretty good. But again, I'm going to get into a couple of things that happened down the road once Jason became the head coach, and you're going to see what I'm getting at. So, 2nd in points, 3rd in yards in 07, 08, 18th and 13th, 14th and 2nd in 09, and 2010, 7th and 7th. Okay? So, that's pretty interesting to say the least there. So, in the 2011 season, the Cowboys offense goes from that 7th in points and 7th in yards to 15th in points and 11th in yards. So they regress to like a mid of the pack, a slightly above average offense. And so you look at that and you're saying to yourself, okay, so I'm assuming they're going to hire another offensive coordinator, and they do. They hire Bill Callahan, former O-line coach in Miami, so there's that connection with Garrett there. And, he's done a very good job at building offensive lines, and there's going to be more on that later. But the reason that this is important is because of how the Cowboys offense improved under Bill Callahan. Now, now the decision making is one thing, because as a head coach, you have to understand what you're doing. And that was a real thing when Jason became the full-time head coach, was the decision making. And you could even go to 2010 and say, there's still the conspiracy theories that Jason Garrett sabotaged Wade Phillips, and there are many that believe that. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because that's a whole video in and of itself. But you have a situation now where Jason Garrett, in these early goings of his coaching career, is questionable with his game management. The play calling doesn't make any sense, and you're going to start, and keep that in the back of your mind. So Bill Callahan is hired 2013. So in an attempt to make Jason Garrett better at game management, Jerry Jones gives play calling duties to Bill Callahan, and this is allegedly. So I don't know the accuracy of this, but a lot of sources indicate that this was to be the case. Now, whether or not that they said this to save Jason's ass is another thing, which I kind of believe. So that's a problem, okay? This learning on the job, type of shit. That's the problem with the Cowboys. This is a thing that's going to come down the road as well. So they're telling Bill, hey, call the plays, as Jason kind of starts to learn how to kind of take care of things as the head coach. That's not a way to run a team, but I digress. So after the 2013 season, Bill Callahan is stripped of play calling duties for Scott Linehan and was denied interviews for Baltimore and Cleveland positions to be their offensive coordinator. And Bill Callahan really got burned in Dallas. He was rubbed the wrong way, and he was forced out by management. And that's why, you saw once the offensive line kind of peaked in 2014, it really regressed because he did such a damn good job. But we go further along, and after the 2014 Dallas Cowboys season, Bill Callahan's contract expires. Keep that in mind. He wasn't fired. He didn't go anywhere else because the Cowboys denied him. They let his contract expire, okay? And Callahan is hired by the Washington, which is the Washington football team, as their offensive line coach. So he doesn't even take an offensive coordinator job like he wanted to. He goes back to O-line, and you see how he did in Washington building up that O-line. Now, from 2012 to 2014, the Dallas Cowboys were 15th in points in 2012, and 6th in yards, 5th and 16th in 2013, and 5th and 9th in 2014. So again, there are I would say that 2014 was probably the peak of game management, but again, there were moments where the Cowboys were just well, what the hell are we doing? But after Bill Callahan leaves, this is where shit really goes off its rocker. The Dallas Cowboys hire Scott Linehan, former co-worker of Garrett in Miami, to be their offensive coordinator after serving as the Cowboys passing game coordinator. Now, he only served with the Cowboys for one season in 2014. So, you get a sense of, okay, Scott Linehan, he made the play call, so maybe he's got something. But lo and behold, So, we go through a couple of seasons. We have a changing of quarterbacks, and there still is a common theme. The lack of game management, the lack of creative play calling, and the lack of just knowing what to do in these situations. So, when you look at this, I know there's a typo, but I will fix it for you if I am willing enough to edit it. So from 2015 to 2018, before Scott Linehan was fired, and again, he was fired because he could not creatively adapt offenses. 2015, 31st in points, 22nd in yards. 2016, 5th in points, 5th in yards. 2017, 14th and 14th. 2018, 22nd and 22nd. That ain't good. That means you're averaging 24th. He was a below, a really bad offensive coordinator, and the Cowboys were not productive. So he was a terrible play caller. So then you go to 2019. The Dallas Cowboys hire Kellen Moore, former quarterback of the Cowboys that retired in 2017 and was hired as their quarterback coach in 2018 as their offensive coordinator. I've never seen that, where you had a former player become, who was like 30, 31 at the time, be a quarterback coach for a year, get promoted to offensive coordinator, and now he's been there for quite some time. So, you go through that 2019 season, and it looks like that, holy crap, maybe the Cowboys finally have something in Kellen Moore. But then we start seeing sprinkles of what we see today, where they go into a shell. It looks like he doesn't know what he's doing. And so, Jason Garrett, going 8-8. Contract expires, and the Cowboys elected not to extend him. They didn't fire him. They just, you're like, yeah, you can go ahead. Because Jerry didn't want to do that then. There was that friendship. So now the Cowboys hire Green Bay Packers head coach Mike McCarthy, current head coach now, to be that next head coach. Now, Kellen Moore is retained as offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. It was imperative that for Jerry that Kellen stays there. Okay? And so, we arrive to 2022. Kellen Moore is now facing criticisms for bad play calling and lack of creativity. Sounds familiar. He is a finalist for the head coaching position with Miami and is probably going to return to Dallas. Okay? So, what is the average? So, you look at Kellen's situation. So, you have 6th, 17th, and 1st in points. 1st, 14th, and 1st. So, he's doing very well for himself. Okay? And so, what do I have to say about that? The fact of the matter is that, look, it's a common denominator that extends back to this. You can, 2007 is one thing, but you can even go back to 2011. The Cowboys have that terrible philosophy of poor game management, poor play call and design, and all this other stuff. And yeah, it's just that has been a massive key point to why the Cowboys have been in this rut. Mike McCarthy needs to take management of this situation and, just be the play caller. Because Kellen is that last main relic of that coaching staff. Sure, Doug Nussmeier was there and stuff like that. But for me, I think that this just shows, and, it's just more than Kellen. I think that the front office has a say in who plays. But if I'm the Cowboys, you need to get someone in here like a Mike Kafka, someone from a different coaching tree that can help your offense be smarter, not harder. That's the problem. If you go watch that Kurt Warner film session, it's not the fact that your quarterback is giving you fits. It's the fact that you're basically making a lot harder on him, not only because your offensive line can't block, but you're not giving your receivers easier ways of getting open. You're not getting the ball to your playmakers, and that is a problem, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, I wanted to kind of discuss and just put it out there that this is still an ongoing situation. And the Cowboys need to, change something up. If it's one thing if Kellen stays, but you need to get a different play caller. And unfortunately, I don't think the Cowboys are going to do that, and they're going to get screwed next season. So with that being said, I will let you guys go. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Bye-bye.